on. All right. Good evening. Today we in Daily Bread we're going to read from 1 Samuel chapter 25. David and Nabal and Abigail. Now Samuel died, and all Israel assembled and mourned for him, and they buried him at his home in Ramah. Then David moved down to the desert of Paran. A certain man in Naaman, who had a property there at Carmel, was very wealthy. He had 1,000 goats and 3,000 sheep, which he was wearing and shearing in Carmel. His name was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. She was an intelligent and beautiful woman, but her husband was surely mean in his dealing. He was a Calebite. While David was in the wilderness, he heard that Nabal was shearing sheep. So he sent 10 young men and said to them, "Go up to Nabal at Carmel to meet him in my name. Say to him, 'Long life to you, good health to you and your household, and good health to all that is yours.'" Now I heard that it is sheep shearing time. When your shepherds were with us, we did not mistreat them, and the whole time they were at Carmel, nothing of theirs was missing. Ask your own servant, and they will tell you. Therefore, be favorable toward my man, since we come at a festive time. Please give your servant and your son David whatever you can find for them. Then David's men arrived. They gave Nabal this message in David's name. Then they waited. Nabal answered David's servant, "Who is this David? Who is this son of Jesse?" Many servants are breaking away from their master these days. Why should I take my bread and water and the meat I have slaughtered for my shearer and give it to the man who coming from who knows where? David's men turned around and went back. When they arrived, they reported every word. David said to the men, "Each of you strap on your sword." So they did, and David strapped on his sword on his as well. About 400 men went up with David, while 200 stayed with supply. One of the servants told Abigail, Nabal's wife, "David sent messenger from the wilderness to give your master his greeting." But he hurled insult at them. "Yet these men are very good to us. They did not mistreat us, and the whole time we were out in the field near them, nothing was missing. Might the night and day there were a wall around us the whole time. We were herding our sheep near them. Now think it's over and see what you can do, because disaster is hanging over the master and his household. He is such a wicked man that no one can talk to him." Abigail acted quickly. She, she took 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 dressed sheep, 5 shear of roasted grain, 100 cakes of raisins, and 200 cakes of pressed figs, and loaded them on a donkey. Then she told her servant, "Go ahead." You need to be quiet, please. You need to be quiet. I'm all right. Continue. Go ahead. I'll follow you. But she did not tell her husband Nabal. As she came riding her donkey into the mountain ravine, there were David and his men descending toward her and meet her. She met them. David had just said, "It's been useless all my watching over this fellow's property in the wilderness, so that nothing of his was missing. He has paid me back evil for good. May God deal with David be it ever so severely. If by morning I leave alive one male of all who belong to him." When Abigail saw David, she quickly got off her donkey and bowed down before David with her face to the ground. She fell at his feet and said, "Pardon your servant, my lord, and let me speak to you. Hear what your servant has to say. Please pay no attention to my lord, who that wicked man Nabal. He is just like his name. His name means fool, and folly goes with him. And as for me, your servant, I did not see the man my lord sent. And now, my lord, as sure as the Lord your God lives, and as you you live, since the Lord has kept you from shedding blood and from avenging yourself with your own hand, may your enemies and all who are intent to harm my Lord be like Nabal, and let this gift which your servant has brought to my Lord be given to the man who follow you. Please forgive your servant presumption. The Lord your God will certainly make a lasting dynasty of my Lord, because you fight the Lord's battle, and no wrongdoing will be found with you as you live, even though someone is pursuing you to take your life. The life of my Lord will be bound surely in bundle of the living by the Lord your God. But the lives of your enemies will hurl away as from the pocket of a sling. When the Lord has fulfilled for my Lord every good thing he promised concerning him, and has appointed him ruler over Israel, my Lord will not have on his conscience the staggering burden of the needless bloodshed of having avenged himself. And when the Lord your God has brought my Lord success, remember your servant. David says to Abigail, "Praise be the Lord, the good, the Lord, the God of Israel, who has sent you today to meet me. May you be blessed for your own judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed this day, and from avenging myself with my own hand. Otherwise, as surely as the Lord, the God of Israel lives, who has kept me from harming you, if you had not come quickly to meet me, not one male belonging to Nabal would have been left alive by daybreak." Then David accepted from the hand, her hand, what she had brought him, and said, "Go home in peace. I have heard your word and granted your request." When Abigail went to Nabal, he was in the house holding a banquet like of a king. He was in high spirit and very drunk. So she told him nothing at all until daybreak. Then the morning, when Nabal was sober, his wife told him all these things, and his heart failed him and became like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal and he died. When David heard that Nabal was dead, he said, "Praise be the Lord who has upheld my cause against Nabal for treating me with contempt. He was kept he has kept his servant from doing wrong, and has brought Nabal wrongdoing down to his own head." Then David for sent word to Abigail, asking her to become his wife. His servant went to Carmel and said to Abigail, "David has sent us to you to take you to become his wife." She bowed down with her face to the ground and said, "I am your servant, and I am ready to serve you and wash your feet of my Lord's servant." Abigail quickly got on her donkey and, attended by her 5 female servants, went with David's messenger and became his wife. David had so David had also married Ahinoam, a Jezreel, and both were his wife. But Saul had given his daughter Michal, David's wife, to Patel, son of Laish, who was uh, from Galim. Couple seconds, go.
First Samuel chapter 25 study notes. Saul was a king, but Samuel had been the nation's spiritual leader. As a young boy and an older man, Samuel was always careful to listen to and obey the Lord. With Samuel gone, Israel would be without a spiritual leadership until David became king. For more on Samuel, read his profile. Nabal refused. Nabal rudely refused David's request to feed his 600 men. If we